guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I will show you how to make step by step these disc necklaces. There are two designs over here and this is one of my favorite jewelry pieces. I think it's absolutely wonderful for summer to layer or to wear by itself as a dainty addition to your outfit. So that's why I wanted to show you how to make those. And I will be making them with Pepetools disc cutter, and Pepetools is actually a kind sponsor of today's video. Thank you so much, Pepe, for supporting my channel and this video. And yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy it. Before we get started, I'll just let you know that one of these necklaces requires some simple soldering and the other one won't have any soldering. Without further ado, let's get started and I hope you will enjoy it. This is my little sketchbook where I have a little drawing of the necklace that I wanted to make today. As you can see, it's very simple drawing, but it gives me an idea of what I want. And for this necklace, I decided to go for about 11 or 13 discs. And that is why, because I personally like when there's a lot going on, but if you prefer to use less, you can easily just make 9 or 11 and space them out a little bit more. It's honestly completely up to you. I will be using 70 millimeters or 21 gauge wire. I will be using a chain, which is just a simple loose trace chain with small links but large enough to fit this type of wire. And for the disc, I will be using this almost the smallest one. I think that should be the perfect size. That's what we're going to be making now. Right, so let's get started. I have 22 gauge piece of metal over here, which is 0.60 millimeters, and I'm going to place it on one side. You use this knob over here to unscrew and open the disc cutter to put the metal inside on this side. And you can check from the top if you can see it covering the whole area. And then on the other side, I'm going to put another piece of metal, scrap metal of the same gauge as this one, just to make sure that the pressure is even around the disc cutter. We have this Pepe loop and we are going to put just a little bit on our mandrel over here. And then we're going to put it inside, and we have our brass mallet, and about 2 or 3 blows should be enough. And there we go. First disc has been cut. Let's go and cut the rest. Okay, I finished cutting discs. I've got 14 altogether, 1 extra just in case something happens. All the time discs are finished. Before we solder these, we are going to have to clean them first, because as you can see on one side, they are very nice and shiny, but on the other side, they will require just some sanding and cleaning. Next, I am going to measure the wire, and for that I would be using either 70 millimeters wire, which is 21 gauge, or this 80 millimeters wire, which is 20 gauge. And I think I'm going to go for about 1.5 centimeters, 2 centimeters long, to have enough space to make a ball at the end and then have enough space to make a loop. So I will probably need to trim it a bit later, but to be safe, it's easier to cut off the excess wire rather than if it's too short, it's too short. So I'm going to go probably for about 2 centimeters long little wires. One way to do it, you can check the length on the ruler and then mark on your wire where you need to cut. The other way to do it would be to adjust the length on this little tool over here, and I'm going to make it about 2 centimeters. There we go. And as you can see, the length is fixed. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through this and mark it exactly where it lands. And this way I will have multiple chunks of wire in the exact same length. If I were to solder this wire just like that on the back of the disc, it would look a little bit awkward, don't you think? Just not very nice. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to flatten the edge a little bit so it's nicer, and there's also more space for the solder to flow around the metal. Right, now it's time to solder these wires onto the discs. For soldering, I will be using this soldering paste. This is easy paste because I won't be soldering anymore after this, so there will be only one join and this will be absolutely enough. You could do it with hard paste too, but for this I am personally using this easy paste, which is absolutely enough. And the reason why I'm using soldering paste is because it's just simpler and faster. You can of course do it with a traditional solder like this if you cut it into small pieces, and you can then just put a flux on the metal and attach solder, and that will work as well. So let me show you how I solder with soldering paste. All I need to do is apply just a tiny bit onto the disc, and then the flattened edge of our wire will stick right to it. And what's great about it is when you are heating it up, the paste and the metal will all stay in one place. It won't jump off. Discs have all been cleaned in the pickle now, so the next step will be to polish them, because right now they are white from the pickle and I want them to be nice and polished silver color. You could polish them by hand with buffing sticks, sanding paper, polishing paper, or using rotary tool and different attachments, or you can pop them in the tumbler, which is I think the easiest way because it would be very quick and you can polish them all at once. So that's what I'm going to do. If you don't have a tumbler, you could always buy the steel shot online and then just make a little DIY tumbler in a little plastic box and polish them by shaking that tumbler. So I have a plastic container over here with some cold water. This is the steel shot, and then I have some soapy cleaning solution over here, but honestly the washing liquid will work just as well. Okay, so discs look pretty good. On this side, they are great. But on this side, they could actually use some more sanding and polishing. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna hold them in a ring clamp so I can work on many at the same time, and then I'm going to sand them gently and polish them. Not too much because I don't want to remove too much of the metal, but just a little bit to make this side look really nice as well. Now one final step left, and that's to attach discs onto the chains. For that I will be using pliers like I showed you before, 2 of the flat nose pliers, round nose pliers, and also cutters to cut off the excess wire. Okay, so first I'm going to determine where is the middle of my chain, and because I am most likely going to be wearing it on a shorter length, so I'm going to measure from the shorter length over here. So I'm going to see, and the middle is over here. So that's where I will start with the first disc. I'm going to put it through and I'm going to double check that it is indeed in the middle. Okay, and now it should be all right. Yes, okay, so the front is over here and the clasp is over here. Perfect. Right, when making the loop, I will make sure that first I am bending the wire just a tiny bit towards the front, like so. Well, not just a tiny bit, that's more than 90 degrees. But yeah, I'm going to bend it this way and I'm going to cut off the excess. Right, and I'm going to cut off about half. And now I'm going to check if that's okay. It depends on you. How large would you like the loop to be? I think this one will be still a little bit too big, so I'm going to cut off just a bit more. And I'm going to turn it around. We have a little loop over there and close it. As you can see, I'm not going for the perfectly round loops because I've noticed that those a bit elongated ones perform a bit better on the necklace like this. And it's up to you how big spaces you want to have. For example, I'm going to place another disc 12 chain rings further. Okay, that's how it looks like so far. I'm going to continue and attach all of the other discs. An alternative way to soldering would be to make little holes in a disc, just like that. So then you can put the wire through it and then just make a little ball at the end of it, so no soldering is required. You would still need a torch to make a ball at the end of the wire. I'll show you this in a second, but you wouldn't have to solder it. So it is an alternative solution and it might also look very nice. It might be something you would prefer. I've put these discs onto this little elastic string because that will help me to polish them, but also keep them in one place, which is great because there would be just too many tiny elements to get out, and this will help me save some time. And this is how the other discs look like. As you can see, I've attached the disc onto the wire that has a little ball at the end, and that's how it will look like. So now what I have to do is make loops on the wires and attach them onto the chain. Same principle as before. I will determine where is the middle of the chain and how big spaces I will need between the discs, and I will just go ahead and attach the discs onto this chain. I've bent the wire, as you can see already, but I'm going to bend it just a little bit further to make the loop. And then I'm going to make a loop. Okay, and that's how the first disc looks like. It just looks a little bit more interesting than the other one because of the little ball. It's essentially very similar style and design. I'm going to attach the rest now and I'll show you how it looks like at the end. Just a quick word, as you can see, I went to create a loop to the back, but if that would be easier for you, you could always bend it the other way and make a loop towards the front. It's up to you the way you want it to look like. Thank you so much for tuning in today and for watching this video. Again, I want to give my huge thank you to Pepetools for supporting my channel and sponsoring this video, and to all of you who watched it. Again, huge thank you to my patrons as always, and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video and what other tutorials you would like to see. Are you going to make your own disc necklace? I think it's a very delicate and pretty design. It's one of my favorites, and I know I will be wearing it constantly during the summer, and I hope you will like it too if you make it. Thank you so much again for watching. I wish you all the best. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.